Hi everyone. Hello and welcome to this special 2-for-1 IFAS Communications webinar from the EDIS team. First, in part 1, we'll introduce the new EDIS submission and review platform. Then in part 2, we'll impart the essentials of effective EDIS writing for you. Each section will be about 15 minutes long, followed by a brief question and answer period. Please post any questions in the chat box during the presentation. I'm Diana Hagan, and I coordinate the management of the collection of EDIS publications. I also coordinate the software we use to manage the collection. And in that capacity, I'm pleased to be able to introduce to you a new platform for managing EDIS submissions and reviews. This presentation is a very brief overview of what to expect from the new EDIS submission and review site. After we're done, you should have an awareness of what the EDIS review site is and isn't. I will discuss some of the major changes in the process and the reasons behind them. Then I'll lead you on a brief tour of the steps for submitting and reviewing manuscripts. Even though not everyone is onboarded, to keep things simple, I'm going to describe the EDIS submission and review features and process as if you're using the system for blind peer review. As of today, May 31st, 2017, this includes 5 units: Citrus REC, Agronomy, Agricultural and Biological Engineering, Agricultural Education and Communication, and Food and Resource Economics. If your department is not on board for blind peer review, you should conduct your reviews following your department procedures. The EDIS submission and review site is like a web content management system for publishing. If you've submitted or reviewed articles for academic journals, you've probably used similar systems, or maybe the same software. Our site is hosted on the Florida OJ site, which also hosts journals like Florida Entomologist and the Proceedings of the Florida State Horticultural Society. It's supported by the same state agency that manages the library catalogs and the Florida Virtual School. The idea that EDIS should have a platform to support peer review is not new. But a little over a year ago, a faculty committee charged with making recommendations for EDIS 2.0 recommended transitioning to blind review for EDIS submissions and adopting journal management software to make this possible. The platform offers other benefits for EDIS, including standardizing across IFAS, making the status of submissions available to everyone involved, and managing the files and correspondence. This is not a replacement for the EDIS website or the EDIS authoring tool. The purpose of the EDIS submission and review platform is to enable efficient management of the publication process in a way that is consistent with the practices of scholarly publishing. This model shows the stages of the standard publication life cycle. According to this model, let's see if I can grab this. Yeah. According to this model, scholarly work moves in the cycle from creation to evaluation, then to publication. After that comes dissemination and access, preservation for posterity, and eventual reuse and repurposing, citation, or recombination to support the eventual creation of new works. This aqua circle represents the evaluation phase. Without a platform to manage reviews, EDIS authors and departments have had to conduct their own reviews and report them using manuscript submittal form, because the EDIS system was mostly focused on this blue publication area and the purple dissemination and access phase at the end of the publication process. A unique aspect of EDIS is that we have evolved a round of administrative approvals here between the blue and the purple phases. But standard publishing workflow has such review belonging here in the evaluation stage. So that is another change we are making as we transition to the new software platform. With that big picture in mind, let's take a look at what this is likely to mean to you. So the first big change is that submission is centralized. You won't have to figure out who in your department or which ICS editor your manuscript should go to. Everyone will submit their files to the EDIS submission and review. Center, department, and program approvers will come in as a round of review after peer review and before editing and layout. This means you will get a different email notification than you're used to getting from me during the approval process because the steps and notifications are standardized in the software. Departments will onboard for blind review a few at a time, as scheduling allows. A faculty editor will be responsible for handling the review of their department's submissions. So now that I've discussed what EDIS Review is, its purpose, and some of the practical changes, let's walk through the process of submitting and reviewing in the system. The EDIS submission and review site has a simple authentication screen that is not gate or link authenticated. You can use either the login box in the center or the one to the right. It doesn't matter which. As departments come on board, I create new user accounts in a batch, and newly added users are notified by email. But new author and reviewer accounts can be created on an as-needed basis. Probably the most important thing to know about logging in is that you can use the links below the username and password fields in the center panel to request an account if one hasn't been set up for you yet. The Forgot Your Password link is also very quick and simple to use. Your EDIS editor or I can also help you if you have difficulty logging in. Your user home should look like this. Most people will have two roles, author and reviewer, on the left. To the right, you'll have the new submission link. For your author role, you'll see the number of active submissions that are currently in process of publication. Your archive submissions will include those that are not currently in process, whether they've been published or rejected. If you have any archive submissions, this field is hyperlinked and you can view them. For your reviewer role, you'll see the number of active review requests you have on your desk. Let's click on the new submission link here and start a new submission. Submission is a 5-step process, which you can see here across the top of the page. There. The boldface print tells us we are on step 1. I'm showing the top of the page here where you first select the journal section for your department and then complete the checklist. You cannot proceed unless all the boxes are checked. Not shown here is a box where you can enter comments for the editor, such as suggested reviewers, deadlines, or other concerns. It's optional. Click Save and Continue to go on to step 2, uploading the submission. To upload a manuscript, you must first click the Browse button and select your file, and then click the Upload button and actually upload it. Then you click Save and Continue to go to step 3, where you enter the metadata. First, you're entering your information and your co-authors. You must enter the title and the abstract, which describes your submission to your reviewers. There are additionally optional metadata fields for keywords and contributors and supporting agencies. Then you'll click Save and Continue and move on to step 4. First, this step is optional. Images and tables to be used in layout can be uploaded here, and any files useful for reviewers. Since the journal site itself isn't public, these supplementary files will not be available to readers after publication. And now you should check things over and click Finish Submission button. And congratulations, you've successfully submitted your manuscript. You'll receive an acknowledgement by email and will be able to view your submission's progress through the editorial process by logging into the EDIS Review website. Your submission is now entering the review stage, where it will be handled by your department's assigned review editor. Now you can see the submission on your list of active submissions. Note the status here is in review. Clicking on the article title or the status link will provide further details. If you have a lot of submissions at the same time, you can sort them by clicking on the column headings that are hyperlinked. You can also start another new submission from this page. As an author, you will also interact with the system in responding to reviewers, copy editing the manuscript after it's approved, and proofing the layout before publication. Now let's look briefly at the reviewer role. Successful peer review depends on you. We need capable reviewers who will respond in a timely fashion with well-considered and helpful recommendations. The reviewer role also has an active submission page. Note the breadcrumbs at the top of the page where this list says Reviewer. You can actually click on the user link here to get back to your user homepage if you're in the wrong area. The same as the author page, you click on the title to get to the specific information for each submission. So at the top of the page, you see the title and the abstract. The department is the journal section, and you'll see any deadlines. Toward the bottom of the page is where you're going to do your work. Where the author's submission took you to 5 different pages, the 5-step review process is all on this page, but the steps still need to be completed in order. First, you accept the request. In step 1, by clicking a Will Do the Review link and send an email message that's generated. You can add a personal note to any of the email messages. In this example, I have already accepted the request, so it says Response Accepted. Now the link to the manuscript is available under step 2. Click the file name to download the file and view it. Then you move to step 3. Click the review form icon to record your review. You may return to this form and save comments repeatedly until your review is complete. When you have finished your review, select Done. Extensive comments and revisions can be made in the review manuscript using track changes and uploaded in step 4 here, which is optional. Finally, in step 5, select a recommendation and submit the review to complete the process. You must have entered a review in step 3 before you'll be allowed to select a recommendation. There are several options. Here's how you remove the hidden personal information that's in your files. In Microsoft Word, open the File menu and look at the Info section. In the lower right, you'll see the names of people who've worked on the document. Remove this and other identifying information, including names associated with comments and track changes, by using the Inspect Document tool here at the left. It will give you the option to strip that personal information out. Don't forget to remove the visible identifiers like the author byline. Thank you for your attention. Let's see what questions we have. If you haven't already, please type any questions you have in the chat box. Allison's here to help. I don't see any questions. Oh. If I don't have a chance to get to your questions, or you have some that you think of later, you can contact me at the phone or email listed here. What happens if we have reviewers from outside UF? Excellent question, Rebecca. The department editor can add names of reviewers easily into the system, and they will send them an email asking them to review the article. It's very easy to add reviewers. So we'll be able to access the webinar on the webinar site, and there'll be an email sent out. Yes, Lisa, we can send you a copy of the webinar, and you can also access it online. Maya, go ahead.
And Maya asks, will existing authors and reviewers automatically be assigned login information as their departments come online?
Yes, I'll collect a spreadsheet of reviewer and author information and load those in a batch, and then the system will send you an email with your login and a simple password that you'll need to change.